I'm pretty sure I got pneumonia there.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. My left lung has been hurting for about 3-4 days. And I'm like short breath.
Yeah. Do you often get those?
No, just when I get pneumonias or bronchitis.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean do I often get pneumonia?
Yeah.
Uh, no, I don't often get pneumonia, but I did used to get bronchitis a lot when I used to smoke regularly. And
Yeah.
that's why one of the reasons I quit in the first place a few years ago. And I actually quit for 4 years.
Okay.
And for some dumb reason, I started again. And, but yeah, I used to get at least 2, maybe 3 bouts of bronchitis a year.
Wow.
And it was the lungs. My lungs are not good, right? They're not strong.
Right.
Most likely has to do something with, I would say, with all my heart surgeries. I think at one point I had water in my lungs. I had a drain in my lung. I had a perforated lung. Like, you know what I mean? 5 open heart surgeries, you go through, your lungs kind of take a beating in some
Wow.
ways.
Hmm.
But right now, yeah, I think I got pneumonia there right now. Like right now, I'm diagnosing myself with pneumonia there, so it's official.
That's official. Okay. Are you gonna what do you do about it? Do you just let it go,
Could
or
that be COVID?
I mean, they'll probably say go get tested for COVID if you go because of the symptoms that
So
are
I
similar.
might be dying of COVID right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Jeez.
as as I'm rolling my eyes.
Well, we better get show 10 in before they claim me.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get through the episode.
So you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm more concerned about you.
Yeah, I can still somewhat breathe, so let's go. You ready?
Here we go again. Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
I know it's my cue there. I'm just trying to get it together.
Okay. What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know. My partner is being a little dramatic.
Your partner has pneumonia and COVID, and you're saying he's being dramatic.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that that's what you actually have? I would feel so bad.
That's what I got. I'm telling you. I can confirm it right now.
Okay. All right. So back to my cue. So welcome everyone to episode 10 of Overthinking and Anxious. I'm Paris.
I'm Marty. And yeah, episode 10. I do that every show is so corny.
Yeah, you do it every show.
Episode 10. It's a milestone.
It is.
And we got 40,000 new fans, new followers in the last 48 hours. So it's been crazy. Media's been calling. I think it's the 10th show. That's what happens when you've reached the pinnacle of your career at 10 shows. So, I mean, it's crazy. Thanks to all the followers, all of you out there. I think 40 or 50,000, they told me this morning when my agent called me, woke me up at 11:40. Who calls you at 11:40 in the morning? And he told me the news, and then I was like, all right, well, at least that gives me a morning boner. It's good news. So he told me the news, and then I was like, well, at least that puts me in a good mood, starts off the day right. But, yeah, I think he said 40 or 50,000. I can't remember now. It was so early broke up my sleep.
Well, I think whatever you have, like whether it's pneumonia or COVID or a combination of both, it's starting to affect your brain.
I might have, what do you call that? Lyme disease or whatever. You could throw that in too.
Now, why would you have Lyme disease?
Well, isn't that the thing that eats your brain or something?
Maybe, but don't you have to catch it a certain way?
Well, I mean, you don't know where I go, buddies. You don't know where I've been. So I could have caught it. There's definitely some places that I've been that I could have caught that Lyme.
Okay.
Could have caught the Lyme for sure. And I mean, I haven't tried to not catch the Lyme, you know? So you never know.
You should Google how you get Lyme disease.
Yeah, and I don't even know what Lyme disease is, but hang on, we'll check. Welcome to show 10, guys. It's all fucked up. Whoever's been watching or listening to this show for the last 9 shows are like, right, coming into show 10 like pretty casually, and they're like, all of a sudden, like, what's this? A shit show all of a sudden?
Right.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a shit show.
Welcome. We're like in between Christmas and New Year's, right? We have to consider that as well.
Yeah, how do you get Lyme disease?
I think it's through a tick.
Yeah, the Lyme disease bacterium, Borrelia burgdorferi, is spread through the bite of infected ticks. The black-legged tick or deer tick spreads the disease in the northeastern, mid-Atlantic, and north central United States.
Do you remember getting, bit by a tick or something? Or
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but I'm going to assume that I was.
oh goodness. So you're like having it rough, like you have pneumonia, COVID, Lyme disease. I mean, jeez.
Mm-hmm. That's
My
why
God.
I'm drinking tea.
Oh, okay. Honey lemon tea, eh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so anyways, that's what's up in my life. How you doing, buddies?
A lot better than you.
Clearly, I mean, I'm dying, so it's all good though.
Oh my gosh.
No, but we're all gonna die one day. You want to talk about death? We can talk about death.
Yeah,
We're all gonna fucking die one day. That's why you got to live every day to the best of your ability and do the things that you love and that you want to do, not the things that you're forced to do, or the things that make you unhappy, or the things that hurt you, or the things that trap you. Nah, do what you love. Do what you love, because you're going to die. It's coming. Is that a good intro to death?
No, it is. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we're all going to die one day, and we have no idea when that day is going to come. It could be, in 30 years, 40 years, 5 years. It could be tomorrow. We have no idea.
That's probably me tomorrow. Probably. Oh, if I was to gauge it there tomorrow or the next day, maybe, whatever, but probably.
Oh.
Are you afraid of death? Oh, I wasn't asking you. Sorry, I was asking our listeners. I'm not really that interested in knowing whether you're afraid of death or not. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, I am clearly not prepared for this episode.
Okay.
I'm not in like the right state of mind.
Oh shoot. It could be a rough one for you. This could be a rough one for you.
Yes. And like we spoke before, the episode.
Yeah.
And like
I was completely
you were fine
normal.
and completely normal. And then here we are.
Right.
Here
Well,
we are.
I just, I kind of turned it on and I was like, well, you know what? I got a lot of this stuff on my chest, so I'm going to turn it into a show. And clearly I have stuff on my chest. I have pneumonia. See? No, I do think I have something wrong with my left lung, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I can't tell if you're being serious.
And every time I try to, every time I smoke a joint, buddies, I try to inhale on the right, hoping that my right lung's gonna take in the puff,
I don't think that's how it works. I mean, I'm not an expert,
I don't think so. It's not like.
but
Unfortunately, I think you're right, and I think that I don't think there's any way to control that.
no. But I mean, good effort. You never know. You might get a couple of controlled puffs in there.
Well, I kind of just do it mentally. Like I try to block out the left lung from taking any damage, right? Just only oxygen in the left lung, and then
Right.
send all the shit in the right lung. It can handle it right now,
Right.
The abuse that some of us put ourselves through. It's unreal. And this is all since I started smoking cigarettes again. The weed, let me tell you something. I don't worry about the weed because it's not like I'm smoking weed all day, every day. I might have a puff at night or whatever, a couple puffs. But that's like an evening thing, and it's way more tempered and controlled and plus it's way more natural.
Right.
Based. Obviously there's still an issue, it's already enough for your lungs to take, but the smoking of the cigarettes is what beats my lungs up. And again, I've been in this mode for the last 3 weeks, beating myself up and really trying to drill myself in about all this smoking and and it's coming. And I'll tell you something though, because often I beat myself up and I don't give myself enough praise or pride or happiness or whatever, the good things that I do. And this whole Christmas family, time that we spent together, usually it's based on a lot around wearing a lot of gym pants, loose clothes, and eating a lot. And this year it's funny because a couple days before Christmas, my daughter was wrapping gifts and she had a box of Lindors and the chocolates. And I looked at it and I looked at the nutritional value, which, I don't usually, it wasn't my go-to thing, right? Because I used to eat Lindors like they were fucking grapes.
Right.
Literally. And it's correct me if I'm wrong, but it's around 85 calories for one.
Exactly.
So that just kind of set my mind. Put me in a mindset, I guess, a couple of days before Christmas. And I was just I got to stick to my plan and I got to still enjoy my time, but it doesn't have to be about food. But I can still enjoy some food, I can still enjoy some good times and whatever, but just in moderation. And I don't want it to be all about food and feeling full and all that. Anyways, and it was exactly that. And I weighed myself today. We are the 28th. So 3 days after Christmas. And I lost 2.2 pounds in the last week. So I'm doing great, right? So that's positive. That's super exciting. But on the smoking, it's horrible. And I feel it. I really feel it. I'm short breath and yeah, it's frustrating there. So It's a,
maybe it's the smoking and not, pneumonia that you have.
oh yeah, maybe. Never thought of
Maybe, right?
that. Right.
Let's not panic, like for nothing there. Maybe it's the smoking.
Right. So I could maybe just quit smoking and see how that helps.
Yeah,
And if that helps, well, then I can confirm that I don't have pneumonia.
right. The other thing, you've been walking the last couple of days, right? And it's been colder, and we all know that cold is not necessarily the best sometimes for our lungs. So I know for me, like when I go out in the cold, I struggle a little bit with my breathing afterwards.
Yeah. But it's a lot to do with smoking. And
Yeah.
I'm at the point where it's like, oh my God, why are you doing this to yourself? So, and then they're right here, right? And they're right here. And then you get the craving and you almost forget that you were thinking that 20 minutes ago. As soon as you get the craving, you just, whatever, it's almost like I forgot what I was saying and boom, light it up,
Yeah.
But I'm going to try a few little tricks starting tonight, just for fun. But I'm going to try a few things here, like when's the last cigarette I smoked? Roughly. Do
Like
you
half an
know?
hour ago? Half an hour
Half
ago?
an hour ago.
Yeah.
Rally.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to smoke. This is just for fun anyway, whether we put it in the podcast or not.
Mhm.
How many more cigarettes should I have tonight? I'm going to go to bed probably around 2, 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're talking about 5, 6 hours time there. How many cigarettes do you think I should have? I know you're going to say probably 3 because you're conservative and you don't want to hurt me by saying 2 because that would be too much and then I'd be pissed off at you.
No, I was actually gonna say 2 because I care more about your health than you being pissed off at me because I can handle that.
Okay. Okay, so 2 cigarettes from here for the next 6, 7 hours or whatever.
Yep.
And try to maybe even go all night without a cigarette or just have one, but hopefully not have any at all because my lungs are so important and I'm
Yeah.
really, really feeling it. And it's not going to end well. I'm dying.
We're all dying, but it'd be great for you to live a little longer. A lot longer.
It's got to happen. So it's gonna have to be retry, whatever the fuck I need to do. If I can't do one thing, I'll do the other. I'll try to laser. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll go whatever. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen in the next week, in the next month, in the next day or 2 or 3. Whatever's gonna work, I want it. So whatever's gonna work is gonna work, and it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done.
Yep. I believe in you.
Tout fini, as we say in French. Tout fini. All done. Tout fucking fini. All fucking done. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I read something
Sorry, I got
today.
fired up there. Sorry about that there.
All right. So I read something today and it talked about goals and how just because you haven't met your goal or your goals yet, it doesn't mean that you need to give up on them. It just means that you kind of have to change the plan or kind of like the route that you were taking and still keep the same goal. So I think it goes really well for you, like for, you've been trying to quit smoking for a while. So it's not a matter of quitting because it's not working. It's just trying to find what's going to work for you, changing the plans until you do succeed.
Exactly. But success doesn't just happen. You
No.
have to create it.
Mm-hmm.
So there comes a certain responsibility and effort on my part. That is the grand key of the whole equation. It's what opens the lock. It's what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very important that I use all the tools that I've built along the years. And every time I quit smoking or have had conversations about it, or remember also how I felt when I did quit smoking, when I was a non-smoker, how good I felt. So I need to always be conscious of that here coming in the next few weeks of war. It's basically a war with the drug that you're going to have to face. And you can lose so fucking easy, and then you feel like a failure. But anyways, whatever.
And
I'm
something that
venting.
you need to consider as well is, just because some things have worked for you in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you now, because you're a different person than you were when you quit the first time, because you did quit for 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you quit then, you were different. Your mindset was different. Your goals were different. So you have to take that into consideration. What is going to be needed for you to succeed this time is going to have to be different than what was needed before. You were talking about success, right? And you have to create your success,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to go further than that too. Is you need to make sure that the success that you create and the amount of work that you put into it is for a permanent long-term success, not just a temporary one.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're looking for something long-term and permanent, you are going to have to put more work into it. Because yeah, you could have temporary success. You've had temporary success in the last 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to go beyond that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm there, getting closer and closer to that, because I don't know, I feel like I'm caring even more and more every day about my calorie deficit, and getting on that routine regime, being very, very disciplined, in the sense of doing the things that need to be done. Even if, like today, I did 4 kilometers because I was walking with somebody else and their back was hurting and this and that, and we cut it at 4 kilometers. I'm fine with that. At least I went out for 40 minutes. I'm breathing air. I'm walking. I'm building a bit of sweat. I'm feeling good coming home, and at least I did something. You don't have to fucking climb the mountain every day.
Exactly.
You got
Just
to
gotta keep
just be
moving.
consistent. Just do a little bit. And this is really where I'm at again. I'm like, all right, back to basics. Do a little bit every day. And when you end up saying, okay, I'm going to go do a little bit, well, often you're going to end up doing more.
Yeah.
Like you today. You set out to do 5K and you ended up doing 9K. So, that shit happens, and that's the bonus part of saying, all right, I'm going to keep it to 3 to 5 kilometers, whatever. But you end up just, feel good. The music's good. I'm not feeling cold. I thought I was going to be colder.
Mhm.
I'm good,
Yeah, like I started and I was out there, and like it was beautiful. Like yeah, sure, it was a little bit chilly, but nothing that made me uncomfortable, and I was dressed for it, and just breathing the air, being outside in the woods, I just felt great. So I just kept going. Like I had no reason. And one of the biggest things too that I'm trying to make sure that I do is that when I do go work out, I make sure that I'm not rushed. So like I didn't have anything right after. So it's okay if I did an extra half hour, 45 minutes. Like I didn't have to be anywheres.
Mm-hmm.
So it was much more relaxing for me to work out, and I was able to enjoy it.
Yeah, you've struggled with your schedule for work. It's bounced you around and it's kind of thrown you off a little to your off of your game a little. And I
Yeah.
get that. Like it can be easy. And I think I mean, no, well, listen, I'm not trying to say that I'm like, whatever, that I know everything and all this and all that, but I'm pretty sure I had predicted it.
Yeah, I mean it's different, right? It was difficult because I went from, and I think it's because two things changed. So I went from working a 9 to 5 to working a 1 to 9. Had that been the only change, I would have been fine. But adding the shorter days and the fact that it's dark like super early and it's colder in the morning, right? So it's not easy for me to like get up at 8 o'clock in the morning when it's like minus 10, 12 degrees outside, because it gets a little bit warmer in the afternoon. But I start working in the afternoon, so I don't have the opportunity to wait until then. And like
Okay,
sometimes I'll
okay,
go
okay,
on my
okay. Stop there. So initially, when I told you, so we're gonna actually dig into this here.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want to decortique. I want to bring it all fucking open heart surgery here. Okay.
Okay.
No, it's not at all actually it's not an attack whatsoever. It's actually a full analysis, because you're talking about it, and what you just talked about makes sense. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't go out. I don't really want to go out it. So it's not a winning combination.
Right.
It's not a success combo. You didn't set yourself up for success. What you could have done, though, at 8 or 9 in the morning would have been like a core workout, like a solid, good core workout, like, and be consistent and this and that, and be, which, I mean, not to say you didn't do any, because you did try to fit some in, like you were about to say, through your breaks and at work and all this and all that.
Yeah.
But I think the initial part that we both kind of fumbled once winter came along. So this is kind of the transition into season, and then your shift changes.
Yeah.
For you, it was even harder than for me, because for me, I could do it any time of day. But I think the initial plan wasn't an attainable one for you.
No.
And I think you've realized that, because it made you fumble for the last 5, 6-ish weeks. Up and down, but not as consistent and driven as we had been and as you had been.
Mm-hmm.
That's where personally, I feel that I'm heading towards again. Like, I feel like everything's clicking in. It's like, okay, well, I just have to adjust my shit. I set a new goal for the 30th of March. So I'm hoping that I can achieve it, and I really want to focus on it. What worries me about you is that while it's a beautiful thing to go walk 8-9K on a day off when it's +1 Celsius outside, it's going to be another thing when it's -10 and you have to work. Today you were off, yesterday, like, you know what I mean? So I think some way, somehow, I hope that this is making you realize that you just need to, like, really find your fucking groove is when and stick to it. And another thing I want to add before I let you talk, because I know you got a full rebuttal, I just want to add this, is that you're definitely going to have to figure something out, because you ain't doing it right. You ain't doing it just right. You're doing it right, but you ain't doing it just right. And I'm not saying I'm doing it right. I'm just saying you have an extra fucking hurdle.
Yeah, and I think my problem is that I was trying to find the same feelings or the same success that I was before the changes. So before my schedule changed, before the days became shorter, before the temperature changed. Like I was kind of like going for the same thing, but I can't, because times are different. And they're going to be different until probably May or June, right? So I need to like kind of turn things around and go walking in the morning when I can, like when it's not freezing cold out or like storming or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I can't, I just have to like do my workouts inside. And I have been successful sometimes to do them inside. I just need to be more consistent at them, because like I have done crazy workouts indoors, and my heart rate was up and I was doing it for an hour or a little bit more, and I was working up a sweat, and so I know I can do them, so
Yeah.
I just have to do them like all the days that I can't go out for my long walk.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and again, like I say, I didn't want to ramp on you because really, my concern is me. But when you care about somebody's success, well, you
Mhm.
obviously you kind of. If I analyze the year, it's kind of broken in two parts. The first part is about 70% of the story. The other part is about 30% of the story. But the 70% part has definitely a higher level of um, connection and connection to the mission or the plan, and and also regularity, consistency, all that, more than the other part, the latter part of the year.
Yeah.
I think that's for me. And if I break it down for you, I think maybe at times a little less bad as me, but then other times where it's like, on the side of you could have done better,
Hmm.
especially on the physical. But it's an adjustment because it's that change of season. There's so much that comes into it, especially when you don't have experience. When
Yeah.
your only experience is hating it,
Yeah.
you got to go through a certain process, and it's having the ones close to you that care about you, and having those discussions and reminding each other. Those are the things that remind us, say, okay, well, I got to find another way. I got to find a way. I got to tweak it. I got to adapt, adjust, and keep at it, because we are heading towards our goals.
Exactly. And I appreciate you, like, and I hate using the term calling me out, but I appreciate you mentioning things that you're noticing, right? Because sometimes we don't notice kind of like the struggles that we are having, or if we're like going in the wrong direction, or if there could be something different that we should be doing. Like sometimes we don't notice it in ourselves. So when you have people that care for you and understand what your goals are, like I definitely appreciate you telling me, because I need to hear those things. So it's never taken in bad intentions, or whatever the case is. So don't worry, and please continue on, and I'm gonna do the same for you, right? So
Yeah, exactly. I'm not supposed to smoke.
you're not. Put it out.
And I just lit one. So you were saying
What I was saying is that
it's
earlier
out, it's out, it's out.
thank you.
I completely forgot too.
I didn't even notice that you lit one up, because
It's
you did
just
it like under
habit.
the screen,
Oh
because I
well,
can't see your hand.
I didn't mean to, but
Yeah, I can't see your hands though.
jazz hands. So where were we?
Well, we talked a little bit about death um already, and then you didn't want to hear about what I felt about death, so that's we moved on.
What do you mean?
um huh?
I didn't want to hear it.
No, when you said, are you afraid of death, and then I started to talk, and you're like, no, 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 not you. I don't care what you think about death. I'm talking to the listeners.
And we never got to you, so let's go back.
Don't care.
Yeah, let's go back to that, because obviously I was joking, and I want to know what you think.
But then you moved on, and we started talking about your holidays and how you dealt with the food and over the holidays, and how your health is, and your journey on quitting smoking.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're throwing me under the bus, or?
No,
Oh,
not at all. You asked me where we were at, so I was just recapping.
you were just. I just heard emphasis on the yous and the yours, and so I thought maybe you were adding a little flair to the words so that I'd read into it, and then now I'm just confused because I think you're throwing me under the bus. That's what I think you're doing. So I'm gonna have to accept it, I guess. But
No, I'm just kidding. You know that. You always said to call you out whenever I have the opportunity, so here I am.
mm-hmm.
No taking it back now.
So, okay, what do you think about death?
I almost feel like we should take this part and like move it like, I don't know, like half an hour ago.
Maybe we will, but
Maybe.
who knows?
I don't even know what I was gonna say now.
Okay.
But
That's
so
okay. That's okay.
no, but I do have
Well,
an
we
answer.
don't want to hear it. If you're going to give us a half-ass response.
So I have two answers because it depends on
Who
situation.
dies?
What?
Nothing.
What did you say?
Nothing.
No, what did you say?
I said and you said it depends on, and I said who dies.
Who dies? Yeah, I suppose.
So
No.
there's one situation, if this person dies, if this person ends up there, because that person is right off.
That's not what I meant. So when it comes to like my own death, like the death itself, am I afraid of it? Yes. So I'm afraid of dying a slow, painful death. So not that I think about this often, but like whether or not I'm watching a movie or you hear about someone dying or whatnot, I always like want to go peacefully or like make it quick. Like I don't want to feel pain. I just want to like go and be done with it. Like what scares me is like the process beforehand. Like I don't think that I would be able to handle like being in pain for a very long period of time.
Okay.
Okay. I thought you were in deep thought because you were looking up, so I couldn't tell. I wasn't sure what you.
I was listening and stretching my neck.
Okay,
And then all of a sudden there was silence.
right.
And then I was like, shit, aren't we recording a podcast here? And didn't she say there was two parts?
Right, but you know
I only
how
heard one part. Did I zone out for the second part?
well that happens sometimes, you zoning out when I talk. And then other times you like need to say something. So instead of you cutting me off, I was just giving you the opportunity to say something.
Okay.
So the other part about death that I'm scared of, I guess, is not necessarily death itself, but I want to make sure that I've accomplished everything that I want before I die. I know.
I don't know. Forget that.
But you always think about that. Not necessarily accomplishing everything, but like sometimes I'll think about, okay, if I was to die tomorrow, would I be satisfied with who I am today? So
There
not
you go.
necessarily accomplishing a list, but like at least just being happy with who I am and what I've accomplished so far.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What else is there? Anything else on the where are we at here? We want to talk about, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about weed? What do you want to talk about?
I mean, we can talk about weed, but last time we tried to talk about weed, it lasted like 0.5 of a second. And then you changed your mind. but we can.
What's your opinion on the legalization over the last, what is it now, 2 years in Canada of marijuana?
I honestly think that it's a great thing. I think it ensures that we have more controlled substance, because you sometimes you don't know where your product is coming from, or like how safe it is, and the quality and whatnot. Um, and I think that the fact that it's legal is a good thing, because there's a lot, in my opinion, a lot of benefit um, in either smoking weed or consuming edibles or whatever the case is, or oils. It helps with stress, anxiety. So I think it's honestly a good thing. People don't have to feel like they need to hide the fact that they're doing weed. So yeah.
Cool.
What about you?
I think it's good for the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that there's a lot to learn about how to price it, how to distribute, and to make it better quality. But it's coming along. It's a substance that is less dangerous than alcohol in so many ways, and also more beneficial health wise for the extraction of CBD, etc.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to enable more research, more development on the actual plant itself and its benefits. So I think it's all a good thing. And on top of that, well, there's a small bonus to the economy that could potentially be, pretty solid. So
Yeah, for sure. Now, did it change a lot from like a consumer perspective, from like an economy perspective? Like, is it more expensive now to buy it in the store than it was previous to that?
um not really, because if you were going to want to get quality marijuana, not just like some R2 from a field out in the local sticks, which is still good stuff, but that's the stuff that would cost let's say $80 to $100 an ounce. If you wanted to get the good stuff like the Kush or the stuff from British Columbia and all that stuff anyway, then you were paying $140, $150 an ounce. And you can get some decent ounces at the local store now, which is run by the province, for between 100 and 140,
Okay.
and average is about 120 for an ounce. So
Okay, so nothing much changed. Well, that's good.
no, people kind of freaked out at first. Oh, the
Yeah.
prices are too much and this and that. But really, if you compare, I mean, it's too much if you compare it to what you're buying from the local harvester, in a field that doesn't have an overhead and that's not really growing premium weed to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's growing R2 or whatever else are the sort of the outdoor, don't have to tend too much to them plants. It's still a good, like I say, it's still a good weed.
Yeah.
But it's not a quality weed. Like the taste is not quality. It's kind of harsh in the lungs. Like it makes you cough a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't been cared for the same way as some of these other plants that were grown in indoors or whatever the case may be. So anyway, whatever, I don't know.
Now, you talked about like the difference in taste, and like like the effect on your lungs, like from a coughing perspective. But what about like the actual effect? Like, do you find a difference with that?
No, R2 is solid weed, man. It'll
Yeah.
stone you right in between the eyes. you
Okay.
know, it'll stone you right in the brain. It'll freeze your brain kind of thing. R2, and that's the stuff you'll get in your local field,
Mm-hmm.
grower. So it's good weed. It's just the taste isn't as good as a really, and again, I'm not a connoisseur there, but
Yeah.
a really, sometimes you'll get a really good, kush. There's all kinds. There's lemon taste. Like you can have some with some taste in it. You actually have, chocolate flavor in it. You have actually
Really? Okay.
fruity tastes in it, and it's really advanced. And like I say, I'm not a connoisseur. Like I don't push my limits on marijuana. I love a good strain of marijuana, love it, but I'm not gonna like fight for it and like pay ridiculous prices for it and stuff like that.
Right.
What
Okay.
they sell at the cannabis store now, which is legal, is there's some decent stuff. Some anywhere between 18 and 22% THC levels. There's some decent stuff. There's some better stuff out there, but it's still decent. It's grown inside and whatever. So,
Awesome.
yeah. I do personally believe that I'm going to switch to hash, though. So I think marijuana can be a anxiety initiator, and I think that also marijuana can make you kind of like hazy a lot more than hash, I find. And the buzz with hash is completely different. It's a very mellow, relaxing feeling, whereas some of the weed, if you're smoking sativa, you're feeling a bit more energized and hyper. If you're smoking indica, you're feeling in the couch, and you can't. And then you got the major grubs, munchies. And whereas I find hash is going to be possibly a good balance for me to also focus on quitting cigarettes. Because when you roll a joint with hash, you put your little pieces of hash in there, but you mix it with a little bit of tobacco. So I would buy like a bag of tobacco, but I'm not going to roll tobacco to make cigarettes. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
once in a while smoke a little joint of hash, and you get the good feeling of hash, and then you also might get a little bit of a nicotine kick. But as long as I'm not smoking on top of it, all that to say that I think I'm going to switch.
Yeah. So do you want to, well, we have to talk about this because we mentioned it on episode 9 that we would talk about the good old New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about New Year's resolutions?
Mostly a crock of shit. However, good for the people who have achieved what they set out for their New Year's resolutions. Because, some people have had success with a New Year's resolution. So what the hell, whether it's a New Year's res or whatever it is that makes you achieve something positive and good in your life, go for it. More power to you. My experience with New Year's res has been crocks of shit. It's been a crock of shit. Been a crock of shit, buddies. It's a crock of shit for me. Never achieved anything on a fucking New Year's resolution because number one, I have no discipline, and number two, I had no discipline.
Oh my goodness.
And number three, all that pressure that you put on yourself, you just set yourself up for failure. However, some people do succeed to it.
But do you think that those people that are succeeding in a New Year's resolution would have succeeded if they would have started their journey or their goal
I
at
don't
any
care.
other time?
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what it took for them. If that's what it was, good for them. For me, it's been a crock of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's been for me.
But I think we've talked about it before. When you want to achieve a goal, it's all about mindset, right? And I personally do not believe that your mindset is dependent on a certain time of year. So if you start off a New Year's resolution in the wrong mindset, it doesn't matter. You're not going to achieve it. So I find that our life is so valuable. We are so worth it that sometimes we deprive ourselves of change, of positive change, because we're waiting to start our goal on New Year's or whatever. And it's not just New Year's, right? So I hear people, oh, well, I'll start like, after the holidays, or I'll start like in the summer, or, well, I'm going to wait until summer's over and then I'm going to start, whatever the start was, right? But like, why? Why do you need to wait? If you already decided that you need to make a change in your life for the better, to make yourself happy, or whether it's to become healthy or whatever, why wait? Unless you are not in the proper mindset. But get in the proper mindset.
Jeez.
Remember last episode I said that I get really intense about New Year's resolution? Well, here we are.
Yeah, like I'm not a big celebrator on New Year's Eve and shit, but like this whole New Year's resolution, I'm like, whatever. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle with that. You are on the left.
I am.
Or the right, one or the other.
I mean, if you end up being in the right mindset at New Year's and you start your goal then whatever. But it has nothing to do with the time of when you start, and all about your mindset to start a goal.
For some people, maybe it does. Maybe it's like, that's what they kind of program as being the objective or the goal is like, on the 1st of January, I'm quitting smoking. And boom, 10 years later, you're like, yeah, I remember I quit smoking. 1st of January, New Year's resolution.
I would love to, and maybe this exists out here, but like, I wonder if someone ever did a study to find out that the percentage of people who have succeeded their New Year's resolution as opposed to when they started something when it wasn't a New Year's resolution, like what the success rate is. Are you Googling it, or are you like, okay.
Studies show that about 60% of us make New Year's resolution each year. Sadly, only about 8% of us achieve them. As the New Year's fast approaches, it's natural to feel a bit excited by the prospect of leaving behind the old year and beginning anew. So it's a very low percentage, but there's still some people that have, for example, quit drinking on the 1st of January and have never drank again. 18 years later, they tell the story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely people who have been successful for sure. But I think it's because those people who started on the 1st were in the right mindset. And I'd be curious to know how many of these people were in the right mindset a month or two before New Year's and could have been successful if they would have started sooner, but they decided to wait on New Year's.
Either way, 92% of them fail.
Yeah.
So that's a high failure rate,
It is. And I think it's because we need to change our focus. We need to change the focus on don't focus on when you're going to start the change. Focus on what you need to make the change.
Yeah.
That's what you need to focus on.
Exactly. Either way, get started. And if you can, anyways, and if you're thinking about it, if you're contemplating, take small steps at a time into starting your journey. Like, for example, Putty's, when she started her journey, she took a little bit of time to study what she wanted to do and how she shaped what it was going to be like. And she prepared, and then she knew, okay, well, I'm going to be able to do this and that, and I'm going to pre-prep my food and this and that. See, on my side of the story, I guess, is more like I would have never done it had I not had the help of a friend in Paris who helped me get organized on using MyFitnessPal and learning and not being so panicked about it because I knew I had somebody backing me up. So, maybe find a friend or join a group or simply, and again, I mentioned it before on our podcast, and it's not because they're local, but I guess it is because they're local, because there might exist other types of this type of a group. But Your Way Weight Loss is definitely, you guys check it out. YWWL, Your Way Weight Loss. You guys go check it out, and you'll discover that there's a huge community out there of people who are doing it their way. And it seems like calorie deficit is the ticket.
Absolutely.
Then you throw in a bit of physical, and boom, things start happening, guys.
Yeah.
So, did I already tell you that I lost 2.2 pounds during Christmas time? Did we already?
Yeah,
we already all cleared that up.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because that's fucking solid, man.
It is. And that's amazing. Like the way that you handled food over the holidays is definitely like something to be proud of. I did things a little bit different. I'm not like disappointed by any means. So I knew that I wanted to consume, more food or like food that is higher in calories at supper time, because I had a couple of holiday suppers to go to. I did not want to crazy go over my calories. So I still wanted to be in a calorie deficit. So what I decided to do was keep it like super, super light throughout the day. Like I barely had anything. I still ate though, but except for one day I didn't. But I basically consumed my calories in like this, 4 to 5 hour span at the end of my day. It affected me differently though. So because I consumed a lot of calories all at once, I kind of felt more like bloated or groggy. I obviously consume a lot more sodium than what I'm used to, so I definitely felt the impact of that. And I weighed myself like the day after Christmas, which I don't know, I just wanted to see. So I did, gain a pound, but I expected that, right? So I'm gonna be weighing myself in about a week just to see, but I'm feeling very confident because I didn't like go big or go home. It's just kind of like when I consume my calories and like the sodium in it was just really high. But I'm still happy with what I've done, and that I was able to control myself. And I'm like comparing this year to what I ate last year, and it's like so different, so different. So I'm like super proud of, the changes that I've been able to make.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the challenge coming up, like getting dialed in again, and like, how do you feel about looking forward? Do you feel like, are you feeling good about it? What's different this year, or what's different for you today than it would have been? Because often during the holidays is sort of where we can tend to slip, and then next thing you know, well, it's the holidays right up till New Year's, and then holy shit, next thing you know, like, this is a span of 2 weeks that you've been kind of bingy, and you've been just eating way more than you should, and we know that. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about anybody that's had issues with food, I guess.
Yeah, that includes me though.
Yeah, so how do you feel this year as compared, and why?
So I feel great. So on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, those are the days that I kind of had like my suppers. So on the 27th, I went to the grocery store. I bought everything to be successful for the week, just like I would have. So I just got refocused right away. Like, I had a plan over the holidays on what it was going to look like. Not perfect, and no, it didn't go 100% as planned, but that's okay. But I like got refocused right away. So my fridge is full of like vegetables and fruits, and like I have stuff already prepped for this week. And I started yesterday, like, making sure that I'm in calorie deficit. I didn't like work out as much as I wanted to yesterday, but like you mentioned earlier today, I got dialed back in. I did 9K. That's probably the more uncertain part of my journey, is the physical aspect. But I think it's just a matter of getting it done and not focusing on the feeling. I keep getting stuck on that feeling. Like I'm trying to search for that same feeling that I had every time that I worked out in the summer or in the fall. And I need to get that out of my head,
Mhm.
because I know, and I'm saying it out loud, I know I'm not going to feel those exact things. It's not going to feel the same, but I'm still going to have success and I'm still going to feel great. But it's just that whole change. I guess that's the thing that scares me the most. But I know I'm going to get it done. I think I've refocused on my goal and kind of like what it is I'm looking for. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to get it done because it's too important not to.
Nice. I have discovered something today that might actually help you too, and I think it's going to help me. Is in the wintertime, it's much better to walk in the woods on the trails than it
Hmm.
is to walk like on the streets, because there's a lot less wind in the woods. I knew
Right.
that. I mean, we all knew that and everything, but it kind of it was a reminder today, as one part of the walk was in the woods, and there was a lot less wind, and it was much more pleasant.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking, even if I have to drive somewhere to be in like in trails with woods, that I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah, I think I realized today though that I'm not as equipped to walk in the woods as I thought I was. So I think I'm going to invest in some grips to put on my sneakers, because in the woods there's a lot more areas where you're going to find icy patches. So I struggled a little bit with those. Like, I remember like there's a couple times I was jogging, and like, I try not to look down too much because I hate my posture when I'm looking down. So I was like, in the moment, and then all of a sudden I saw like an icy patch, but I was like in the moment, like, so it took me a little bit to stop, and there's a couple times I didn't really stop, so I almost like slipped and fell. I did like the little Bambi on ice dance.
right.
um but yeah, so you have to be a little bit more careful when you're walking in the trails in the woods,
Yep.
but definitely agree that it's super different, and it feels better.
Yep.
Post holiday season, and I know like we still have to go through New Year's or whatnot, but a lot of people go through stress. They have the feeling of loneliness because they just finished spending time with their family, whatnot. We have a lot of people feeling guilty, a lot of people going into depression. So, what are some self care things that we could suggest our listeners that they can do to help with those?
Well, the base of everything is breathing.
Hmm.
I think that's important. I tell you, walking really helps me, because you're breathing and your body is, your heart rate is up and everything. So your body's doing something. Yeah, there's a little bit of pain sometimes. I got frequent pain, in my in my arches or in my back. But there's something about taking those walks, and especially in nature and everything, it helps you focus on your mental health. You just got to realize that your mental health is as important as your health. It has a lot to do with your success. So to me, it's like your health and mental health really need to be in line. Are mine in line? No, I'm not. Whoa. Let's not get carried away here. You know what I'm saying? But I think you got to strive to find that balance and that equal, because I think mental health needs to be equal, if not better, than your health. Because that's the root of success. That's the root of the inspiration to get up every morning, to go to work, to go grind out your day, or to do your own thing, your business, or to start a project, or to be a CEO, or to, you know what I mean? Like, I think your mental health needs to be strong. So the first ground exercise to, having a better mental health is breathing. And then all forms of breathing, you can do it through yoga or, Tai Chi, whatever you want to do, or just meditate. But breathing, or just breathe. Like if you don't want to get into any of all those things, just breathe. Take long, deep breaths and try to get outside and do that. And anyway, I'm going on and on and on and on and on. I don't know when to stop,
But you're right, Marty. So mental health.
Like a machine. You turn me on. I don't stop, yo. I can't shut up. All right, I'm done.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's all right if you're not.
No, every once in a while, I kind of I let the Tyler out.
The Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's from Nashville. He's
Okay.
a Southern guy, and
I didn't realize these things or these moments had a name.
Yeah, well, that's my Tyler. So every once in a while I'll throw out the now I'm making myself sound like a multiple personality there, but it's not. I literally just made up the name Tyler, and that I had that I had a alter ego or whatever it was. There's nothing. There's no Tyler. There's a Tyler. I know a Tyler from Nashville, actually, and that's why I said Tyler, because it was like the only guy that I knew in Nashville that was from Nashville.
Okay.
And come to think of it, he's not even from Nashville, because no one in Nashville is from Nashville. No one.
What are you talking about?
No one.
There has to be one person.
Well, yeah, there's some, but you know what I mean? Like, most people that you meet that are from Nashville are not from Nashville.
Okay.
They're from Ohio, or they're from fucking Michigan, or they're from Texas, or they're from Atlanta, Georgia, fucking Georgia, ATL. They're from everywhere. And they're all chasing the dream in Nashville.
Yeah.
So they're all congregating in this city that we call the capital of country music worldwide, which has become a complete bubblegum creating companies that are creating so-called country stars, and that are only really fitting in the cookie cutter dream world of money, 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 and power. Nice yawn.
Because I started to yawn and then laugh at the same time, so I cut my yawn.
Yeah, I thought for sure you were
Oh
having a
my
stroke.
gosh.
Thought for sure you were having a stroke.
No. So
I was
like,
convinced, oh shit, she's having a stroke. Stop talking, Marty. You might have to call 911.
No. So you yawned like probably about an hour ago. So I've been having this like I need to yawn feeling. And then it was finally happening. And then I started laughing and then it's gone. It's still there, but that was unsuccessful. Anyways.
You're actually legit tired and you don't want to admit it for some reason.
I'm not tired at all. I slept so late today. So late. And I was perfectly fine until you yawned. And I've always been like a yawner. That makes no sense. I can yawn and like not be tired. There must be another reason why do we yawn anyways? It can't be just because we're tired. Because I yawn and
lack of oxygen, maybe? I don't know.
Okay, well clearly I'm missing some oxygen.
I don't quote me on that. I don't know. Google it.
I'm on my phone. You should Google it.
Well, I'm busy.
Anyways, so in order to take care of yourself is really doing stuff that makes you happy. But you really said it, Marty, is making sure that you take care of your mental health first and foremost. Because yes, your health in general is important, but if you are not in the right mental health state of mind, you're not going to want to take care of your health, right? So that's
that's a lot of help.
I know. Oh my gosh, can we just cut that out and then we can just be done with whatever you said about self-care? And maybe we could finish off by reading the email that we got.
No. Do your part again. Just don't fucking say health like 42 times in 4 sentences.
I don't know if I can. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try this again. So self-care is really doing what makes you happy and what makes you feel good. Whether that's reading, writing, exercising, whatever the case is, figure out what makes you happy and do that. Taking care of your mental health is the priority because that's going to give you the motivation to take care of your actual physical health as well.
100%. So well said.
Thank you. Thanks for the attempted distractions.
No problem.
That was hard.
That's what she said.
I was like, he's not getting it. I made a comment.
So, Putties, just before we close off the show, I want to read an email that we got.
Sure.
From Melissa, an avid listener, a regular listener.
Yes.
And one of your good friends, one of your best friends.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this. Saturday morning, woke up at 8. I've switched jobs where I'm running around all day with kids. It's exhausting. So I went back to bed. Then I woke up. I thought, well, I better go for a walk. But it's too cold. It's wet. I'm lazy. It's hard and my legs hurt. Once I put the 7th episode on, I thought, cold, layers, wet, wear thicker socks. Lazy and hard, being fat is hard. Legs hurt. Since when has that stopped me before? Paris always used to tell me being fat is hard and you have to push through the pain. I listened to episodes 6, 7, and 8 And I honestly don't think you both understand how motivating and how awesome these are. The points are so valid. And yes, Marty, I understand Paris doesn't say the words right, but it's graham crackers. L motherfucking oh well. That's right. I said it. L motherfucking oh well. Again, amazing episode. Keep it up, because who knows who else is listening and is too scared to comment and send emails. You're probably changing tons of people's lives. You talk about when COVID started, everyone was changing their lifestyle and on a journey. However, I think since these episodes have started, you have changed more lives than you think. I literally look for these every day and get excited when you have new episodes. Keep it up, Melissa, the dumb friend. The dumb friend? Is that an inside joke? Or?
Well, yeah. So I love Melissa, but she sometimes, I mean, she has her moments where you question, how she, functions in the runs of a day. So she always, introduces herself as the dumb friend when we're in public or whatever the case is.
Okay.
Sometimes her sayings, and I mean, mine are great, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, I mean, she struggles.
Well, she wrote a nice email, so thank you so much for that.
She did.
It's really nice to get an email like that, and to know that at least somebody's listening. I think a few people are listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Super appreciated to hear from you guys. So please feel free to email us at overthinkinganxious@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
And this is just two legit people, real normal people having conversations about stuff that half the stuff I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it kind of makes sense to me. And I'm literally just giving my true heart thoughts, and what comes out of what comes out is what comes out. And we're just literally two normal people trying on our own journeys, trying to keep it real on this podcast.
Sorry. I'm like trying to hold it together.
Should I what?
Oh my god.
What is this all about? What's this all about?
Because you're like, you keep saying we're just like two normal people, and I'm like, two or three if you count Tyler.
Now you're gonna confuse people if they haven't listened like to the earliest part. Oh my god. Oh. Anyways, well, I'm sure it's been an interesting podcast.
Yes, I'm sure it has, because it definitely was for me.
I'm trying to process it all right now, and I'll tell you, wow. I'm going to try to not edit as much as I can out. Not edit out as much as I can, because, like I say, I like to keep it as real as possible. And it's kind of after episode like 7 or 8, I realized, okay, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to stop worrying about how I'm acting or how I am. This is who I am. Like, I can't be fucking like always editing myself out for being a moron. I'm a moron. Like, I'm not a moron.
No.
Okay, it's the wrong word, but I'm an idiot. No, it's not. That's not the word either. I'm a douche. No, it's not the
No.
word. Wait, I'm trying to find the word. Hang on. I'm a loser.
Comical. No, you're comical.
You say I'm comical. What I'm saying is that I'm annoying, I guess is maybe what I'm looking for. I'm like, I'm all over the place all the time. And, but that's who I am. And I need to like keep it real,
But
you know?
you can't edit that out.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to keep. And eventually, people are going to probably be able to see how all over the place I am. Because eventually, hopefully, we'll have a studio where we can have a video recorded
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's another level. Know what
It
I'm
is.
saying? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Let's fucking get out of here. It's been a slice. No, because it really hasn't been that much of a slice, but
So don't forget to follow us on social media.
on what?
So don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us
Yeah.
on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're also on TikTok.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. Take care of yourselves. If you have a little bit of love to spare, share it. Share it with somebody you care about or somebody you don't know. One way or another, a smile, a simple gesture might change that person's day.
Until next time,
Much love. Bye.
bye.